Welcome to Everyone's Brew, where women talk about beer. In today's episode, we recap the first 6 months of 2021 and work out our goals for the next 6 months. I'm Joanne, and this is Tori.
Sup?
And we're two beer-loving women on a mission to get more people drinking and talking about great beer. Come join us. How are we in July already?
Don't know.
How did that happen?
Don't ask me. I don't. Yeah, no comment.
Where has
honestly.
it gone?
Fuck's fine now. Oh, I've already started.
Now I'm gonna have to beep that.
I'm gonna have to basically, and also as like right before we started recording, you're gonna notice the cluster F behind me. I edited myself on that. It is an absolute state, you can see, but that's because I have moved my podcast. So my dining room is now, I started a new job, which I'm absolutely loving so far. Yay. But now that I'm going to have the guaranteed balance of being at home, once everyone goes back in the office, I'm going to have like a more of a balance in office and at home. I didn't really want to be stuck in the same office as my husband anymore. Not that I didn't want to be stuck in there, but I feel really bad for him because we're both on calls. Like I have noise cancelling headphones and I'm like, it's probably really loud because I can't hear myself. So I decided I would take over the dining room space and have a little office corner where I can do the podcast.
Delightful.
So I built the IKEA furniture. Well, Rick built the IKEA, I project managed, he built the IKEA furniture.
I mean, that's your job, so
yeah, I mean it's his job as well. But yeah, so pretty soon, next time we record, you should see that this is a much nicer space because all I've got at the moment is my records, my beer and my light box. But pretty soon this mess will be gone. And apologies, Rob, the sound quality is going to be a bit crap this time because I'm back to using this microphone for one episode because I have to find an alternative solution of how to do the mic.
Bigger clamp.
I've got a stand for it, but it's not going to be here till tomorrow.
Be all right, it's fine. I don't think we're known for our tech abilities.
Which is really sad because we both work in tech.
Yeah, I know.
Which is why
no, but we don't work in sound and we don't talk in work in audio visual. So it's
but I'm so glad like you weren't recording when we first got on the call, and I was effing and jeffing and losing my mind because I couldn't get. Then my mic and the monitors weren't working. Everything was just going wrong, and I was like, "You think I didn't work in IT?" I was fuming.
I'm like, switch it off and switch it back on again.
Didn't work. I was so annoyed.
Hello, IT. Have you switched it off and switched it back on again?
That's my natural default. But yeah, we're here. 6 months in. Well, yes, yeah,
6 months. Well, we're on the 7th month.
Well,
yeah,
that's
we're
it.
In the 7th month.
We've sort of let it pass a full 6 months. I am absolute garbage. I am a human dumpster when it comes to like filling in my Untappd properly because I just leave it.
Seriously, I have not got around to it. I was really good at one point. I was like, checking it all in at times, and then I've recently just sat and like checked in like about 200 beers.
So my holiday, the drive home. Anyone that's looking at my Untappd, if you are looking at my Untappd, like it looks like I have gone on a massive bender for like a full weekend.
There is one guy that follows my Untappd, and for a while, every time I did like a mass upload, he was like, "You had a really good night." And I was like,
"Yes, I did about 40 beers."
I totally drank all 20 of those beers in full on that one day. Yeah, I totally did that. And then but he'd do it, so it was like it was funny the first time. Every time I did it, he was like, "You had a really good night," and I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm just putting all my beers in."
That's it. The first like 3 times you're like, "Haha, funny," and then like the 4th time you're like,
"No, he stopped doing
I
it
had
now.
A massive weekend. It was a really long weekend."
I've just stopped responding to him, so he stopped doing it. Sorry, guy that always comments on my Untappd.
Sorry, guy.
I'm basically an alcoholic.
But yeah, no, bless. Like, I checked in a whole bunch of beers, basically. So obviously we're going to be reviewing our first 6 months and all that. So like in preparation for that, Joe and I tried really, really hard to put as many of our beers on Untappd as possible because we thought it would make it a lot easier to do it. Joe thought she did all of hers and didn't.
No, I was like, oh no, I've still got that note with several in from Bigfoot. Oh.
I think I did all of mine with the exception of like certain ones that I had in person. So like Bigfoot, I checked in some that I knew for sure I had. And then there's probably a whole bunch that I've just wiped from my memory that I just have no idea what I had. And I think just like going out to tap rooms and stuff, I don't remember. I didn't record it at the time, took a photo, but stupidly didn't take a picture of what that was that I had.
Oh no.
And didn't check it in right on the spot. So I don't know, there's more that I've drank that I haven't recorded, but I've recorded everything I have, and I've done mine just to set the precedent. I've done mine from the 31st of December. So I calculated the ones I had on New Year's Eve, like the evening of New Year's Eve, because I thought even though that's December, it carried on into January. So I thought I'll count that. Okay. And also because I couldn't have a really crap one be my 1000th beer. So I was like, I might as well.
1,000 beers. What did you choose for your 1000th beer?
I chose Pillar's Ice Bock.
Oh,
the 2020 Ice Bock.
That's exciting.
Yes, it was really nice at the time. It was a friend, Dan, sent it to me, and I was like, oh my god, we did a trade, and that was like one that he sent to me, and I was like, this is amazing, and it was really good. And I know it's not it's a bit more rare than some other beers, so I was like, that'll be my 1000th beer. I know I've had like way more than that, and I've probably hit 1,000 ages ago. I just don't. I'm rubbish at recording them, but I thought, in order to get the decent 1000th check-in, so I'm not super judged.
Pick a decent beer for your.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to count New Year's Eve because that's how I can get away with that. So
and
I did that.
I'm edging towards 4,000 now.
Jeez.
So my 1,000, right, if I can remember back, my 1,000th beer, I think it was from Omnipolo. Oh, I'm going to have to look it up now. Bear with, listeners.
Is there a way to like quickly find that?
But I think I remember what it was, so I'm going to look for that. Because I think it was called 666.
I think my problem is I just didn't. There was years where I signed up for Untappd and then I didn't use it for years, and then I think like I used it sporadically, and then during the beginning of last year when I was like, cool, diving even more head first into like the scene as opposed to like just drinking things that I came across. I was like, well, I guess I'll start recording things now again. And I went back to my Untappd, and I mean, so what I was going to say before was I felt really bad because I was just checking things in just to get them in there. And I was like, I didn't take adequate notes on some of these, or I didn't have the notes with me. So I just checked them in because I was like, I feel bad. I need to get them in there. Speed this up. We're recording in like less than a week. Need to get it done. So I've been putting them in, and Emma from Mirakai, she messaged saying, was there something wrong with the beer that you checked in? You checked in our beer and you didn't put rating on. I just want to make sure. She's so sweet.
Oh, bless.
Ollie saw it. He was a bit concerned something was wrong with it, and I was like, no. I was like, it was really good. I was like, I just didn't have the notes. I didn't make any notes on it, and it was so long ago that I drank it that I can't remember, so I didn't want to give it any time. Like for me, I'm fair across the board. I'm like, I'm just not going to rate anything if I don't have a note to go by or anything like that. So I just didn't rate it. And she was like, all right, I'll tell him not to worry. And I was like, no, like I would tell you if I thought something was wrong. We still love you guys.
We still love your beers. Don't worry.
I was like, I would tell you if something was wrong. Like, don't worry. I was like, I felt so bad. She was like, she like Instagrammed me right away. He saw it and he wants to know if everything's okay. And I was like, everything was fine. It's not the beer. The beer was good.
I love it. Right, so do you want to know what my 1000th
what was your 1000?
Right, so it was Magic number 666 Black Mango IPA from Omnipolo. I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Solid.
And it had mango on the nose, roasty, hoppy bitterness up front with a very slight mango linger as it warms. A good combo. That's what I said. That was on my birthday, April the 10th, 2016.
Aren't you glad though that it wasn't like 1 out of 5?
Right, so I knew my 1000th beer was coming up, so I went and bought like a really nice. Actually, I bought that from the bottle shop in Canterbury, and I went in and I was like, right, I want a nice selection of beers because one of these is going to be my 1000th check-in on Untappd.
Do they understand?
And they were like, yeah, like, and they were like, okay. And they're like, right, what do you like? And they picked out, I had that, and I had something from Michela. They gave me like, I had a whole, but like a range of some really interesting beers that they selected for me. And I was like, out of these, Mango Black IPA, that's got to be my 1000th one.
But then I feel like that is risky. Like sometimes it's risky doing like fruit with a black IPA. So like, what if it just?
Yeah, but it was Omnipolo.
Yeah, but that's even that means nothing, because Omnipolo is like, we're gonna just throw darts at a board of food, and the first 3 we hit, we're going with a flavor, and hopefully it works.
It wasn't weird. Like it didn't have like candy floss in it. Candy floss, cookie, space dust.
I'm just gonna put this out there though, that you were like, it's Omnipolo. Do you not think that Omnipolo would be like candy floss?
I mean, they would, but in that one it wasn't.
Cookie.
That was mango black IPA. I was like, perfect.
I love
not
Omnipolo.
Gone too crazy.
I love Omnipolo, but they are not known for reining it in on their flavors. Yeah, no,
it was beautiful.
That's good.
It was great.
Stop
raining on my 1000th check-in.
I'm not, because you actually put notes on yours. I was just like, oh, I'm just going to check this one in, and I didn't rate it. I just checked it in. I did that today. Whoops. But anyways, so yeah, what are we here for today? We're here to look at our first 6 months, because obviously we did our end of the year last year. We set ourselves some goals. We basically highlighted like breweries that, you know, we had our own reasons for why we wanted to try them. And we just thought it's been 6 full months, and things are starting to return back to normal a bit. We can go out, we can see people, we can enjoy things in public again. So we thought we'd have a 6-month check-in. So without further ado, shall we crack a beer? So do we want to say what our first beers are?
What have you got?
So my first one I got from my local craft beer cafe, because they've got, especially, this has always caught my eye every time I've gone in there, but I've always kind of put off having it. It's Pillars Vienna Lager.
Oh, I love Vienna Lager.
I picked the Vienna specifically because I know I do quite like a Vienna Lager, and the reason I picked this one is because I always would go in there, the labels and the bottle, like the stubby little bottles, like they remind me of Red Stripe bottles, which like in the US I always liked getting them because they were different. I always saw them as like, they look really cool.
Very
but then I was like,
continental as well.
But I don't like lagers. But I think over this last year, we've like banned that from our vocabulary. We don't say that anymore. We don't hate lagers. We just don't like bland, sad, frumpy lagers. Yeah, we just don't like frumpy lagers.
Yeah.
So I thought I would choose a lager as my first one, just to signify that for the next 6 months of this year, I am not going to say no to lagers anymore, and I'm going to buy them when I see them and they look cool. So
I love it.
What's yours?
So I've also got a lager. I've got Bell Beer from Brew, which is an amber lager, and I believe it has got oolong tea in it.
Ooh, nice.
So that should be exciting. Because Brew were on my original list of breweries that I really wanted to try, because they were a British lager maker. And as it turns out, I've now tried a lot of Brew and I really like it.
We love Brew.
And as you know, if you've listened to the Bigfoot episode, we've done a whole lot of love for Brew. I have literally bought the t-shirt and the hoodie.
It's a really
I am
cool
a Brew fangirl. So here we go. Here's another one.
Yeah, I had the Bow Black lager that they did, the collab. It was really good. I didn't like it as much as I liked the straight Braybrook Black Lager, because I found that one that we did for our Triannuary episode was really like Moorish. Explosion, volcano.
I've got a spillage in the village.
It's a spillage in the village. No, mine was okay.
This has been sat here for a little bit and it's got a bit warm.
Mine's all right.
Okay.
But yeah, I liked it a lot, but I didn't like it as much as I liked the regular one.
Right.
Because I just felt there was a bit.
What was different about it?
I don't know. I think something about the regular one just made it a bit more. Like it was just more Moorish. Like I can't put my finger on what it was.
More clean?
No, I think it was a bit more roastier.
Oh, okay.
From my memory, I think it was a bit more roastier. And I don't know, there was just something about it I can't put my finger on, that I was just like, I couldn't stop drinking the other one.
Yeah.
The Bow one I really enjoyed, but I was like, okay, cool. Like when the normal one ended, I was like, oh, I'm sad now, my glass is empty. When the Bow one ended, I was like, I'm sad it's gone, but that was good.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't mourning like I was over the normal one.
Ours are about the same colour.
Yeah.
We've both got very amber.
Let me hold the light up for you. Mine's a bit
amber,
clearer and a bit more, ambery gold.
Yeah. Mine had a very lively head, which has now gone down.
I mean, you had a beer now.
I did, yeah. Mine has got a very lovely kind of bready, malty body, but then there's a little bit of floral, which I assume is coming from the tea.
Oh, that was going to be interesting to try. I almost got that one when you did the order. And then I was like, no, I've got to limit myself.
Do you know, this is weird, but this is what my head has just said this is. That tastes like bready iced tea.
Bready iced tea. No, that's a good one.
But tasty. Oh, I like that. It's bready iced tea.
This is
Is it all right?
No, it's really good. I'm just trying to think of how to describe it because I'm struggling, because there's nothing that's like overt to pull from.
Right.
Like there's nothing that you're like, oh, that's really that's a very pronounced thing there. I'd say it's got that breadiness.
Yeah.
It's not a sweet type of malty. It's more of like a toasted type malty. It's a bit of crispness, but I feel like it could be more crisp, but it's not unenjoyable. It's good. I enjoy it.
You heard it here first. We love lagers.
We love lagers. We don't hate lagers.
We don't hate lagers. That's a lie.
So do you remember? I guess I don't really remember all the goals that I set for myself last year.
You were really like, that's interesting because you were very like, these are my goals. Yeah. It's structured. This is who I want to try. And I was kind of like, well, I want to try this person. I want to try that person.
No, I know who I want to try. I just don't remember the other goals that I set for myself. So
okay.
To recap, so if we skip the bit of the other goals, because do you remember any non-trying goals that you set? Because I don't remember.
No. Going I think
somewhere. I focused on the trying.
That wasn't my house. Yeah.
To be fair, I feel like that was our goals. Like, we want to get out more.
Yeah.
We want to meet in real life.
Yeah.
And we did that.
Tick.
Multiple times now.
Yeah.
3 times now.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. And a potential planned drank session in August.
In the future, this is happening.
So
I don't remember what other things. I don't think I said any other things that were important.
I think it was like, I want to go to breweries and maybe a beer festival, which I've now done.
Tick.
So I mean, someone will at me and be like, that's not what you said. Remind me if you listen to the other one and like let me know what I said, because I don't like listening to myself, so I didn't re-listen.
Yeah, she won't listen to any. She won't listen or watch any of them back, which is why I edit everything.
Yeah, I don't want to hear that. So I can tell you. So I did a top 10 buy/try in 2021 list. So we sort of formed our list slightly differently. So for me, mine were formed based on places I had never bought something from before. So I want to try the beer, but I consider it ticked off my list if I've at least purchased it and it's in the queue to be tried. So the 10 places that I listed that I wanted to try beer from, that I had never tried anything, or at least not knowingly tried anything. If there's a cheeky collaboration I didn't know about, then it is what it is. I have put Pentridge, Crafty Cats, Trinity, Cantillon, St. Mars of the Desert, Good Things, Overtone, Equilibrium, Proud, and Dingbat. So that was my list. Did you have
I did. I have got a list. It's much shorter than yours.
I was gonna say, before I actually go with what I tried, what was the list?
So mine were Brew by Numbers. I wanted to drink more of because I'd only had like one, I think. Utopian, Play Bruco, Dig, Donzoko, and Brew.
Yeah. So from my list, the ones that I have managed to buy, and the majority of them I have actually drank now. It'll be clear which ones I probably haven't had yet. So I've got Pentridge. So yeah, Pentridge, Crafty Cats, Cantillon, St. Mars of the Desert, Overtone, Equilibrium, and Dingbat. The ones I haven't tried yet of that list are Cantillon, and I think that's strictly because it's a more difficult to get hands on, more expensive. It can last longer on the shelf. It is more shelf stable. So naturally that has taken a back seat to some other beers that I've had. And I'm just kind of, where we've all been in lockdown, like you just don't get to go out and meet out with people. I mean, now we will be, but you couldn't really meet up with people, especially not people that have the same appreciation for it or will enjoy it. That's been sort of shelved for now. And other than that, I've also not had my Dingbat, but I've not had that for a reason. I told you why right before we started recording. Basically, this was posted, Etna. Dingbat posted it on their social media page on Instagram, and I was like, I've got a board game that would go really well with that. And they very, very, very kindly offered to send me a can to enjoy with my board game. It arrived in one piece. I'm really excited to try it, and it goes with my board game called Downfall of Pompeii.
Ta-da!
So I was gonna crack it today, but then I was like, I really want to drink it while I play my board game. So I've not cracked it today. I've not opened it yet, but I do have it. Admittedly, I didn't buy it. It was sent to me, but I'm excited to try it and to try more from them because they're very new. And I think I've actually just seen, maybe a day or so ago, they are sharing a space with Trinity now.
Oh, that's exciting.
Which is really cool. I didn't see that coming. And then all of a sudden I saw the announcement and I was like, really cool. So excited to see what they do. So of your list, which ones have you tried?
All of them.
Yeah, to be fair, your list was more,
mine was much shorter.
Want to drink more, but you wanted to, I want to try more of, as opposed to never had.
And I think we did a lot of these on our triannuary episode as well. So that's fine. I've only had one of Play Brew Co, so actually I probably need another one. And I saw that they've reissued their drumstick beer, and I want to get one of that. Dig I've only had one of, but I've got an Imperial Stout of theirs in the back of the fridge, because again it's like it'll last a little bit longer, so it's in the back of the fridge. I grabbed that because it was one with the glow in the dark wax on it. So I got one for me and one for Tori when I found that locally.
I remember you like, look what I found.
I've got you a Dig with the glow in the dark wax on it.
And it's like the nice like green, like it's the proper green one.
And Utopian, Donzoko, and Braybrook, I just got a whole bunch of like good lagers in from them. And I've just been like, right, I'm trying the lagers, and I'm a lover of lager again. Like, here we go.
Are we gonna make a trek to Braybrook?
Yeah, I think we should.
Honestly, it's just so funny that we went from like, I've probably even after we started recording, not even at the start, like when we first recorded, probably like a good few months into us recording, we were still saying like, I don't like lagers. I don't really
like lager, but
I don't really like lager, but, and then I just think the beginning of this year is when we were like,
no, well, actually,
from the vocab.
So I actually did a massive order from Rainville Superstore the other day, because I am doing some training for the beer judge certification program and some tasting training.
That's my excitement alarm.
And for my certified Cicerone training, you need to know about what beers taste like, so you got to drink them. So I need to do some tasting practice. So I wanted to order a bunch of very traditional beers, and some of the first ones in the series of training that I'm doing are the lager beers. So Rainville had a very good selection of different types. I also
have quite a good selection.
They've got an amazing selection of beer. So I 2 boxes got delivered the other day.
How did
my
Gordon
husband
feel
was
about
like,
that?
Gordon was like, we bought more beer. I was like, yeah, but these are study beers.
Different.
I was like, this is different.
It's different.
Like, these are study beers. Like, it doesn't matter that there's a few Tartarus in there as well. That I'm just gonna drink.
You had
These
to
are
make
study
it
beers.
worth the shipping.
Yeah, exactly. I needed to fill 2 boxes.
1 box wasn't going to cut it.
To be fair, I did also go, some of these are for the podcast because I bought you 2 beers.
That good old chestnut. Some of these are for
like,
the podcast.
These are study beers and podcast beers. That's different.
Yeah. It's definitely different. I agree. 100%.
So there. So now I have a whole, like, I literally had like nearly an entire box full just of lagers.
That is amazing. As people that started off with, I don't like lagers,
lager.
I don't like lagers, but I
bought a Kolsch as well, and I generally don't like a Kolsch.
Which one did you get?
I've got the Melissa Kolsch from Neptune.
Oh yes,
so I've got that one because in the past I found that I don't like Kolsch's generally, but I am willing to try them and see how we go. I think this is the thing, and I said this to someone the other day. I think you've got to be. I mean, you don't have to. You can just drink the beer that you like all the time if that's what you want to do. But if you want to build your beer knowledge and understand all the different types of beers there are out there, I think you need to try all the beers, try all the styles, and then every now and then you go, I don't really like that one, but this brewery's brewed that. Let me try that one. Just to see if because your palate changes, your tastes change. They may have brewed it in a slightly different way that you enjoy more. Like, I don't think you should be shut off to any type of beer.
That's it. Prime example of that is when I was helping out Full Circle at Bigfoot, and they put on the saison, and it was a peach and apricot saison, and there was a lot of people that came up and like they were like, I don't know which I want, have a sample, and it was like West Coast IPA, normal IPA, double dry hop pale, like that kind of stuff. And then we had the saison, and it's like, have a sip of this. It's like, well, we've got a saison as well. And they're like, I just don't really get on with saisons. I'm not really a saison fan. And I was like, just humor me and just try a little bit of it. Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Nobody's going to be offended. If it's not a style for you, it's not a style for you. So I like gave them a little taster of it, and surprisingly, quite the majority, I would say, not even just quite a lot, the majority took a sip and went, oh, that's a lot nicer than I expected it was going to be. And I said, yeah, it's because it's a bit more fruity compared to sort of what your normal saison is. So it was just interesting to see that, like, if you just said to someone, just try a bit of it, be a little bit open-minded, I promise you it's different than what you've normally tried. And people give it a go and they're like, oh, but if they saw that and I never asked them to try it, they would be like, don't want to touch that.
And I think this is the beauty of being able to go back to a tap room, to a festival. You can go and try a little bit rather than having to invest, £7 in a can.
And a 440
and you don't like
can
that you can't drink, or
and especially if you're the only one you're the only one in your house that drinks it. You've now got a 440ml can, 330 at the lowest, and that's at least a full glass. So it's if you don't like it, you've just bought a whole beer and then you're wasting it. But you don't have to drink it if you don't like it. But I understand why people don't want to they don't want to feel like they've wasted it. They don't want to feel they've wasted their money, a product, anything like that. So they just won't go for it at all. They won't take risks. I think it's there's a big argument when people talk about Untappd and people rating things of like, I don't like sours, and then they drink a sour and they give it like a bad rating, and it's like, well, you didn't like sours, why did you order the sour? Now, I might not agree with their approach on why they've done their ratings that way, because I don't necessarily think it's fair to say, I don't like the style, I'm trying a style, I'm going to give it a poor rating. However, that aside, I think it's quite important that people actually go, I don't normally like sours, I'm going to try the sour. Now, make a note for yourself to say, nope, this one wasn't for me. But I think it's quite good, actually, that they're putting in the effort to try it, because if you don't try new things,
you don't know if you're going to like them.
And like you said, your tastes evolve.
Yeah, absolutely. Although then you get the people that are like, 2 out of 5 will buy again.
Don't.
I'm like, okay, I don't understand your rating scale, but that's cool. You rate it however you want.
But it's average, and you're like,
cool, that's fine.
Okay, like that's the thing of like something I might not like a 2.5, just for example, because you've thrown that number out there. 2.5, you know, I might not say I would never drink it again. But I probably myself and the way I rate things, to me, that's not something I would pay money to. Like if I had the option.
No, 2 means I don't like it. Yeah, 1 means for me, what have you given me?
I feel bad.
I very rarely give. I will very rarely give a 1 or a 2. Yeah. 3 is usually like
3 for me is low.
Yeah,
like
3 for me is
3
really
is
low.
like a meh.
Yeah.
What's the lowest you've given recently?
Recently is probably a 3.
The lowest I gave recently was a 0.25.
Really? Okay, you can tell me later what that is.
I can tell you now. I have no shame.
Oh, really? You got no shame? Okay,
I have no shame. I'll own it because and I don't think it was a just not for me thing.
Right.
That Boss Brewing.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
bubblegum. The bubble trouble, and that's not because I don't like bubblegum.
Yeah,
it's because it didn't taste like bubblegum. It smelled like bubblegum. It was really bitter, and for me, I gave it such a low rating because it was supposed to be one thing. It didn't taste like that thing, and it was really unbalanced. So it didn't just taste like it was like, for me, I don't tend to rate if I can tell something's probably a bad batch, or it's not been stored properly, or I might have not stored it properly, or whatever, or it's out of date. Like I don't tend to rate on those situations. This and other ones that I've rated low, like if I'm rating it low, it's because it just tastes unbalanced. It doesn't taste wrong, like something's gone wrong. It tastes wrong as in like it's just not good. I rated that quite low. I don't mind owning that.
That's fine. You own that.
I will own it. Like people can at me. But then to be fair, I've never tried anything else from them, so I can't comment on them as a brewery. That single beer, I don't know if I had that on a podcast or if that was just us recording pre-podcast, and I was just like,
yeah, we didn't have that on a podcast.
But yeah. That was my lowest. Okay. So I guess I thought it'd be quite fun. So all I have left on my list now is Trinity, Good Things, and Proud. And the reason I haven't got a Proud yet is because you kind of have to buy those in packs of 12. So it's just a bit difficult to get hands on. From what I've seen, maybe it's changed a bit, but I would love to buy their beer. It's just really difficult to get a small amount. I've got a lot of beer. I don't need a 12 pack. But I thought it'd be fun if we pick 6 more breweries to try that we want to try to cover the next 6 months. So do you want to start with the ones that you picked that you want to? Are yours going to be the same where it's you want more of as opposed to?
So I've either not had them yet or I've only had like 1 from them. But some of them I have bought already and they're in the fridge. I just haven't drunk them yet. Yeah. So my first one is Echo. We picked up some of theirs while we were on the Beer Mile doing one of our previous podcasts. They are a black-owned brewery. They are bringing their African heritage to their beers. They've used palm sugar. I really want to get their pale ale number 1, which has got African Queen hops in it, which is an African hop. Because that's exciting, and it's single hopped. You know how I love a single hop beer.
You do like a single hop.
I love a single hop beer to learn about that profile. So I need to get me one of those. I have had Echo Haze very recently, which is their New England IPA. It is beautiful. There is like no bitterness up in that.
You don't need to sell me on it. I'm sold already.
Right, and it is like peach. You're drinking peach juice.
I love peach. And I think the problem is like peach can sometimes come across really artificial.
Yeah.
So it's really important that you get that peach flavour right.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, that was beautiful. That's my first one.
I'd quite like to try more African hops because I don't think I couldn't tell you many African hops at all. So just it's really interesting to see that.
So it's not a well-known hop growing region. And I think the thing is, so I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but about a year ago, I watched a webinar about a brewery that was being started in Africa, in Rwanda, called Quasar Brewery, and it's an American lady and an African lady, and they are starting the brewery. It's going to be women owned. It's going to support women in business, and they are really interested in trying to use traditional African brewing techniques.
Oh, right.
But what they found is, and on this webinar there was another lady who is who's a head brewer. She's not now, actually, because they've had real difficulties in South Africa. Her brewery was in South Africa. During the lockdowns, they banned alcohol sales completely.
Oh, really?
Yep. And so they couldn't brew. And then when they relaxed it, it wasn't soon enough for the breweries to be able to brew enough to get out. And then they got locked down again. And so they've basically been squeezed out, and like she's had to close the brewery that she was working at. But she was saying that there's a rich history of brewing in Africa, but it's not written down anywhere. So the traditional techniques are only handed down through families and through word of mouth, and there isn't any, like, they were just like, what are your brewing techniques, like the traditional brewing techniques, and they use the grain sorghum because that's a grain that is readily available over there, which adds different flavors. And she was just like, the problem is there is no written texts about African brewing, and we're trying to change that, but there's nothing for people to refer to. So they're trying to work on that, and they're trying to use more traditional techniques, but obviously that is slightly more difficult because you've got to get the expertise from the people that have been doing it for years and years and years. But so that's really interesting. And so I think like African brewing it's just really interesting. Whenever I
just like
see
to know
something
more
about it, whenever I see something about it or I hear something about it, I'm like in there. I'm follow Quasar Brewery on Instagram, and they do really interesting things. Highly recommend. Plus,
I'm
Echo.
gonna go do it now.
Do it now.
I'm gonna go follow them now before I forget. So that sounds really, I don't know, to me that just sounds really interesting.
Yeah, and they've done like, I can't remember if it's a mango or pineapple beer they were doing, and they've been trying, and then because they weren't allowed to sell their beer either, they were still brewing because they're brewing test batches and things to work out what their core beers are going to be.
Really?
But then they had a chef who was then using their beers in food, so that they could still brew it and still use it without being able to sell it like as a beverage. They were using it in cooking instead.
Cool.
Really,
that sounds good.
Really interesting stuff.
I can't find them on Instagram.
Pop
their details.
I'll pop it in the
show notes.
But it's KW.
Oh, that's where we went wrong. I was spelling it like star, like star matter.
It is KWEZA Craft Brewery, Quasar Craft Brewery, first Rwandan craft beer brewery, women owned and led and brewed. It's a brilliant account to follow.
I feel like I've learned things, and I want to learn more things.
They've got merch, but they can't send it out of Africa, and I'm very upset.
That's always a pain when there's merch you want. Yeah, just like, please.
I want a Quasar t-shirt, please. I want to support.
Yeah. What is moving on from that one then? What's the next one?
Right. So my next one is Neptune, because I love a bit of Neptune.
Solid.
And I have found it really difficult to get them down here. So I've only had maybe one or two of their beers because I've got them in packs of other things. And I finally the other day did a mass order from theirs. And actually they're sat looking at me on the desk right now. They're not in the fridge yet because I haven't got room.
Like, put me in the fridge.
Yeah, they're just looking at me. I'm looking at me. I mean, look at this one. Hibiscus and mint wheat beer.
I love those colours as well.
Right. Their branding is gorgeous. They're in the Art of Beer book that Pete Brown did.
It's back there and I can't get to it.
Wait. On the shelf here. They are in this one for their awesome branding, beer by design. Because they're just like this, like you just need to see the trident and you're like, yup, That is, it's shiny. Let me get a different one. That is Neptune's beers. As soon as you see that Trident,
you know it's their beers.
And I may have added a t-shirt to my
of course you did
collection.
You have to, because you're going to eventually run out of beer shirt Fridays if you don't get more beer shirts.
Mate, I don't think I am. I think I've got 52. I think I can just just keep doing
you need
one every week
for every week of the year, and then you can retire. I'm done. Yeah.
My beer shirt game is strong, as I've been
It
told.
really is. It really is. And your beer koozie game. Apparently, we all learned that.
We did when we were talking to Werewolf Beer. But that's my next one. Neptune, women owned. So that's always a good one. My next one is Loki. I mean, if you haven't seen the nonsense that is being brewed by Loki, where have you been?
I wanted the one that so
Miss Kitty Fantastico.
Yeah, I really struggled.
I haven't got that one yet.
I wanted the label on that one, but I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna love the flavors. So because it's just not flavors I personally enjoy. Yeah. I'm sure it tastes fantastic, but I'm like, I can't justify buying it if I'm not confident that I'm gonna like that flavor combination. But I was like, I want the label so bad.
So this is so the Loki Barrel Project. It's all like stouts and barley wines and all of that fun jazz. Barrel aged and looking delicious, and it's got tonka and
we don't
cherry.
know. We have no idea.
No idea who it is. Like,
who's behind it?
It's got,
we don't know who's behind.
Do you know what?
Do you know what? It's a mystery.
Like they brought out a PB&J version or something, and I was like, I've heard that before. Definitely seen a beer with that in before.
We don't know who
does
it is.
That.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Don't know who
Lots
that
of
is.
tonka used. We just don't know.
Tonka.
Who it is.
Who uses tonka?
Nobody.
Fruit tea.
No. Nobody uses any of that.
Who's that?
So we have no idea.
No idea.
It's a mystery.
Yeah, Loki is.
One day we'll find out.
One day they will reveal themselves.
He or she.
Yeah.
Or he will.
Or they.
Or they. Well.
Yep. Anyway, they're on my list.
So
they're actually filling up the bottom of my fridge, which is the bottle section. I just need to crack them, but because they are hefty.
Yeah, the hefty boys.
Yeah, they are. So they have been kind of. I want to enjoy them, but I feel like they might be sharers.
Yeah, and that's my problem as well. Is I've got the set of the last 3 set that came out before Miss Kitty Fantastico, and I was like, I got the PB&J ones, and I was just like, oh, I really want to try them, but they're all barley wines, and I was just like, it's a lot. It's a lot for me to just drink on my own. Not that I could have them one at a time, but it's a lot. It's indulgent.
I could crack one.
It's indulgent though, isn't it? I find, and I don't know if you feel this way as well. I know it's going on a tangent from our episode, but
really, we never do that.
We would never do that. It's in the same way we don't know who owns Loki.
Right, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know who that is.
Mystery Tonka. I don't know if it's, but for me, there's beers that I'm like, I could happily have this by myself. I could sit there and I could have, a 750ml bottle. If I wanted to on my own, I could have it by myself. I find that I actually enjoy sharing ones that I'm really excited about, really, really excited about. I'll end up holding on to it for ages. I've got the Pie Hard with a Vengeance from Fallen Acorn. I've got that Impy Stout, and I still have one of the sours. I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison, and now I'm just like, I could do it. I could make time to do it on my own, but actually I'd quite like to share it with somebody else that will appreciate it. And I think that's my struggle, is I'll hold on to something like a bottle of something that I could have on my own. But then I think, where's the fun in that? I can't share that experience with anyone. I can't discuss the flavors with somebody if I'm having it by myself.
Right. And this is what I said this the other day. So it's still on my desk because I was showing it off the other day. So this is for those
that your yeast
are listening, this is my weird yeast one. So I've got a black bottle box here with fancy gold on it, and it is the James Squire The Wreck Imperial Porter Survivor's Ale. God, that's a mouthful.
It looks more like a big old old
it looks like a big
whiskey.
Old, and it does, it looks like whiskey, doesn't it? And it's in this fancy box. I'm going to open up the fancy box for the video people. And there's this lovely bottle in there. Oh, look, I put it in backwards. But this was, my friend sent me this from Australia, and it's brewed with yeast that they reclaimed from a shipwreck off the coast of Tasmania.
That's insane.
And it's to celebrate the lives of the survivors of that wreck. And it was 220 years ago, something like that. So that's pretty special. I wanted to save it, and it's also rum barrel aged as well.
That's a high ABV, I imagine.
It's only 7%.
Really?
It's a porter.
Yeah, but still, I was going to think like rum barrel aged in something that fancy. Like I was thinking
7%. So I could, like 9. I could.
I was going to go 9, 10.
I could politely sit and like sip away on that on an evening. 750ml bottle.
That's
right?
how you make it polite.
But I want to share that with people that will appreciate it. I thought about sharing it with my husband. As much as he, will enjoy a beer with me, he'll just tell me it tastes like beer. So, that makes me sad that if I sit and drink it with him, someone else is missing out on the joy of it, which he's just like, yeah, it tastes like beer. So I'm saving that for a day when a few of us can get together, and then he can have a bit and call it beer. And
that's it. You've got to, yeah.
And then we'll wax lyrical about it, or not, as the case may be.
Yeah, or we're like, this is really unimpressive.
Yeah. All that build up, all that box. Yeah, that's right.
I feel like at that point, you'd have to like lie about it. Like you'd have to be. It's amazing because you can't.
It's interesting.
Can't have it. You can't have it and then be like, meh.
No.
Now that you said like, oh, it's to celebrate the lives of the survivors.
Right, so it's got to be good. So you've got to, because it's a celebration now. So you've got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy it.
You have to.
Yeah. Anyway, that leads quite nicely onto the name of my next brewery on my list.
Oh.
They're called Docker. They are local to me. They are a sourdough bakery and brewery from Folkestone and West Hythe, and they started in 2016. As well as the bakery, they decided to brew beer. They were selling beer out of the bakery with their bread, and now they've taken over the space in the Good Shed in Canterbury where the bottle shop was before it left, and have made that it's like a really lovely little bottle shop, and they get some really good stuff in. So I've grabbed one of their beers. Actually, I've got about 3 of their beers now. They did a sour. They've got a kettle sour.
You got to get that.
That's in my fridge. They've done a sourdough beer, so that's used the leftover bread. Nice. Pale ale, and they brewed that with another local brewery called Hop Fuzz, who are from West Hythe as well, so they're neighbours. And that's a reclaimed bread one. I have in the fridge as well, and I've got one of their dark beers. So
of course you do.
Look forward to trying that. Of course I have. Why would I got dark beer? Why wouldn't I buy that? So I'm excited.
That's a natural progress. Like that seems like a naturally good step for a business as well. Like you're like, oh, right, I have an interest in beer. I'm a bakery. It feels natural to just be like,
and I'm not even joking.
Like, perfect to use the waste there.
I go down to and I go to pick up beers from them at the Good Shed when I get a chance. Popped in, picked up some beer, and I was like, and I'll have a sourdough loaf while I'm here as well.
Of course, like
you've got to.
You don't go in where it probably smells amazing and then be like, no, none for me, please.
Yeah, brilliant. I had their malted sourdough the other day. It was really lovely.
But I feel like that trip, because I feel like you sent a photo and you got beers that I was going to have as well, and I don't remember what it was now, but I just remember the bread and being like, yeah, I remember a good looking loaf of bread.
What did I buy you? Oh, because I bought stuff for our saison and grisette. Spoilers. Saison versus grisette versus beer de garde. We're going to do.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, we definitely need to have a spoiler alert alarm. We need to get a soundboard. That's like the next natural step.
That's our next, right? That's what we need to invest in. If you'd like us to have a soundboard, we have a Patreon, and you can support us for £2. Chip in to the soundboard fund.
But you don't have to. But just know that your money would be going towards
a soundboard, and we can have fun sounds on it. Patreon.com/lovebeerlearning. So that's my 1, 2, 3, 4th one. My 5th one is Flock. Now they're a little bit hype, but difficult to get hold of. But but they're from well, they're down my way. They're in Margate. They're vegan and unfiltered, and they also support local charities and do charity work in the local area.
Do you love a good bit of charity?
Yeah, so they sound really good. I haven't bought anything from them yet. One, because I haven't been able to find it, and two, because they tend to do IPAs. They have done one pale ale. I missed it. They do hop forward beers. We know how I feel about hop forward beers.
Well, you just need to buy them and share them with me.
Right, I just need to kind of bite the bullet and buy, because they're really local and they're they're a proper craft brewer who are local by, and we don't have that many actual craft breweries down this way. It's a lot of traditional.
It's more traditional
That's
stuff,
not a bad
isn't
thing.
It?
It's just different. That we don't have that many craft breweries around here, so I feel like I need to support my local craft breweries when they are up and come in. I need to find their beer first, but they're on my list. So if you can find me a pale ale from Flock, anybody, let me know.
Can you not just go there?
I was looking on their website and they're sold out at the minute.
Grim.
But maybe one day. And then my final one is, you've already had these, Tartarus, because they just look amazing.
They taste amazing.
Have slipped some into my Rainville Superstore.
Into your two boxes.
Might slip some in. It was one of those ones, we've talked about this, where we do this, and one where you go, I want one of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. And you fill a basket up and then you go, ooh, that's a lot. I need to take some out.
That's expensive.
The Tartarus, they pass the cut. Shante, you stay.
You go, ooh, child. That is...
No,
I don't have the wallet for that, big spender. What is going on? And then you
take some of those,
and then
out.
You've got to do the culling. Yeah, you do the sachet away.
Sachet away. Tartarus, Shante, you stay.
Do you do a big present? Do you stand like? I'm sorry, my dear. Sachet away.
I need you to lip sync to stay in the box.
Show me your ingredients for your life. That could be our new way of ordering beers. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, no, I've had them. Really good.
That's TikTok in the making, I think.
Can I at least get some credit in that?
Yeah.
Cite me. So
that is my 6.
Solid 6. I think that's a solid 6. And a 6 that I probably wouldn't have expected you to say. I don't think I knew what you were going to... Well, I know you mentioned it before, literally right before recording, because we didn't really discuss this in advance. I just kind of was like, I'm putting this in the show notes, and I'm putting this in our structure, and in case you want to do your research. But yeah, I think it's ones that make sense, but they're just not ones that I expected to come out, because some of them I hadn't heard of that one, and I didn't expect you to put low-key on there. I don't know why, because I was like, my thought
I was sat there thinking about it.
I was some, and I didn't think that you'd put them on the list.
I was literally just sat on the sofa thinking about it before we recorded, and I was like, I haven't actually tried theirs yet. They're on my list to try, so let's put them on the list to try. Obvious.
Hit that off. Yeah, right. No, exactly.
And Spatch and Hob Day were kind of floating at the bottom, because I want to try more of theirs, because I've had some of theirs really that are really good.
Very good quality, very high
excellent quality. They do some really interesting stuff, and they do some really traditional stuff that you can look at.
High quality traditional
high quality traditional stuff. So I was just like, but I've had quite a few of theirs recently when we went to their tap room, so I felt like I couldn't put them on the list, but they are on I've signed up to their newsletter so I can see what they've got new coming out, so I can do an order of theirs as well when there is a nice selection to buy, like I did with the Neptune ones.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, to be fair, mine again, the 6 that I picked, again, they're ones that I'm they're 6 that I need to put in orders with.
Yeah.
Ones I've never tried, haven't bought from or bought any of at a bottle shop or anything else like that. I should probably have done more of a list of ones I have that I'm most looking forward to trying for the first time. Because I've got Loki. I've got them in my collection. I've not cracked them open yet, because I'm waiting for that special moment where I could share it with the right people.
Yeah.
But I didn't count those, because I was like, I already have those, and they'll last. It's barley wines, they'll last.
Yeah,
they're safe there. So I've just picked 6 completely new, 5 completely new breweries, 1 specific beer. So to start, basically, my first one, I've put Attic, just because I've seen like so much of them that I've not actually, I don't think I've actually tried one from them. The next one I've got on the list, I don't really like these ones. I don't have the same justifications that you have. I was just like, these are ones that just catch my attention and I just want to try them. My second one on my list was Solstice Brewing, and that's like a very new brewery.
I've heard of them.
They're the ones, that's the female owned brewery. So I've put them on the list because I would quite like to try them really badly, and their like artwork is amazing. So Solstice Brewing, second one on my list, they have a female co-owner. I think it might actually be fully female owned because I think she owns it with her sister. I'm not 100% sure, but I do know that I love their artwork. The person that does their artwork, I think, is her sister, I believe, is what I've heard, and she's a tattoo artist, so it's got that real like tattoo style to it. I really like it. I want to know more about them because they're very new. I don't know much about them at all, so I'm really sorry if I got any of that detail wrong, but that's what I got when I saw them, and I just, for that, it's the artwork and the fact that I just love seeing that even more women brewers are getting out there and getting beer done, so I definitely want that. Next one that's on my list is Holy Goat. I believe that's one of the guys from, or what was one of the guys from Vault City.
I think so. That sounds about right.
Yeah, and he's always done Holy Goat, and just massive looking beers. Just massive. Like the artwork's really cool in general, and beyond that, it's just these real intense. Like I think I saw some barley wines, some like impy stouts, just amazing looking beers. So definitely one that I want to try for sure before the end of this year. I hope I can get my hands on some. Fourth one is Glasshouse Beer, and again, that's strictly because I just keep seeing it come up over and over again, and I just haven't actually tried anything from them, so it'll be really good. If I'm going to say a sixth brewery before I say the actual beer that I want to try, sixth brewery that I had on my list is Affinity Brew Co.
Yeah.
Because I think I've had collabs that are done. I think like I had an Elusive and Affinity collab, but I've never actually had an Affinity on its own. So I really want to try an Affinity on its own. Just because I keep seeing stuff that they're putting out. I'm like, that sounds really nice. I want to try it.
Yep.
But the actual beer that I've never had that is on my list to try before the end of this year is a Duchess.
Got to. So we both need to get a Duchess. You realise that they had some at Ansbach, don't you?
Yeah, but I had to, like, decisions had to be made.
Because I bought one because I was like, I need that to eat with some cheese.
Yeah. Well, I faffed
which
out
I did,
in the fridge because I was like, I want everything. And then decisions had to be made. They had a vest top. I needed the vest top.
Yeah, you bought that vest top. I didn't buy a t-shirt. I don't have an Ansbach t-shirt, so that needs to go on to my next one.
That vest top has got a lot of mileage out of it already, and I've only had it a few months, and because it's been so sunny, when it's been so sunny, basically live in that best top. Love it.
So basically we both need to get a Duchess and we need to drink it live on Instagram. That's what we need to do.
I will make that agreement, but I'm not going to eat stinky blue cheese.
You're eating blue cheese because
I'm not eating gross stinky blue cheese. Can I just have like a cheddar?
Good. You can have it with a cheddar if you want,
like a smoked cheddar or something.
Have it with smoked cheddar. I mean, it won't be as good as the blue cheese, but
blue cheese is gross.
Blue cheese is not gross. It is delicious.
I mean, at me, I don't even
really
care.
Danish
I said what I said. I said.
She said it. It's fine. It's fine because you send me the blue cheese and I'll just eat it all.
That's it. Is we've got a really great relationship here. Blue cheese, all you.
Yeah.
Cheddar, anything like that.
Yeah.
Over here.
I mean, if I give you cheddar, my husband will divorce me.
We'll get him an Easter egg. It'll be fine.
Get him an Easter egg. That's fine.
Next year, I know what's happening. I'm stocking up on Easter eggs, and strategically, I'm going to strategically like mailing them out every once a month. I'm going to get like 12
Easter eggs.
Listeners,
my husband has a real thing for Easter eggs.
I don't know if they've even missed it as much as I don't think we've actually
I don't
said
think we've
it.
talked about it. It's
basically, yeah, I'm going to stock up on Easter eggs this next Easter, and I'm going to strategically just send out one a month to him.
Tori's my favourite friend, his favourite friend of mine, because she gave him an Easter egg.
I did.
That's all you got to do to get around my husband. Give him an Easter egg.
It's bribery. It's like, please let be okay with Joe coming into London. We're going out on the
drink beer with me.
I'll
give you an Easter egg. Yeah, he was more concerned about me. He was more concerned about me bringing that Easter egg back than he was anything else.
Yeah, we were in London. Like,
if something happened to my Easter egg. No, your Easter egg is fine.
Is it melted? No, it's not melted.
It's not melted. It's fine. Thanks for being concerned about my well-being.
And then the best bit is when you got home from Bigfoot Festival, and he was
like, "Did you bring me? Did Tori give you? Did Tori give you an Easter egg for me? Like, she's slacking."
I don't just have a stock of Easter eggs.
Well, apparently you need them.
Next year I'll have them. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry, Gordon. Next year, 12 Easter eggs with your name on it. Yeah, that's my 6.
Anyway,
on to the next beer. Cracking another beer.
Right, my next one is the Neptune. Tick that off the list.
Why did you pick the Neptune? Is it just because it was on your list and you were like, F it?
Yeah, because it was on my list and literally it turned up Wednesday. And I was just like, I am going to drink one of those.
Nice.
And I've wanted to expand the amount of beers that I've tried from Neptune for a long time.
Very heady.
It's very heady. Mine are getting a bit warm because I've got my lights on them.
Oh, fair enough.
And they're getting fizzy because we've been talking too much.
That's huge.
Beer gets foamy if it is warm. If it is too warm, people. Fun
fact that you may not so that fun happens. Fact.
For those that are not watching the video, my beer is half head.
It's pretty foamy.
Put a flake in it.
Put a flake in it. It's done.
Yeah.
So mine is Top Rope versus Frank Turner, The Gathering Pale Ale.
We love a bit of Top Rope.
I love a bit of Frank Turner as well.
You love a bit of Frank Turner.
I picked this one because when we started, we kind of started over the idea of doing the ice cream pale ales, which came from Top Rope.
Yeah.
And I'll mention sort of later how Top Rope fits in with one of my further goals for the next 6 months.
And this is a New Zealand pale ale. Yeah, New Zealand pale. It doesn't say what oh no, it has. It's got Nelson Sauvin in it. Bit of Nelson.
Have a bit of Nelson.
Getting gooseberry, getting grape, getting grass. Exactly what you expect from bit of Nelson. It's quite lovely, quite dry.
Yeah, mine's Mosaic and Simcoe. Pale ale as well. I mean, it's not specified as specific.
Are you getting broccoli?
No. It's got like a real crispness to it.
Ooh.
And it's there's like this really subtle like punch of fruitiness in it.
Nice.
Which is like I just wasn't expecting it, because it kind of starts off like you almost get what you kind of interpret as a bit of pininess. Tastes a bit piney, but then the second and third sip of it is like, oh no, that's like fruitiness, but it comes across in kind of like a squash type way.
Okay.
Where it's that like subtle but obvious fruit that's there.
Yeah.
Like just sort of cutting through it. It's not the first thing you taste, but then it just like comes through and you're like, oh, all right. But yeah,
nice.
I'm
enjoying it.
I'm digging that. Yeah, so the next thing that we talk about halfway through is kind of like seasonality of beers. I find it really difficult to pick a beer of the year, and even like I know so many people that are already going like, I know what my beer of the year is, but I find it really difficult because like I find that I can have something that I really enjoy, like pumpkin spices, or like, yeah, you already know that's going to be probably my favorite or what I'm looking for come autumn, right? That's what I'm going to want. But that doesn't hold a candle. Like in the summer, I'm wanting something totally different. And I find it really difficult to take something from January and compare it to something in, October time when it's different flavors. I'm looking for different things.
You're really seasonal. See, I'm not. I like that different things come out at different times of year. But if I enjoy it, I would drink it at any time in the year. I'll drink stouts in the height of summer. I'll drink lager in the depths of winter. I'll drink anything anytime. So I'm less swayed by that sort of thing. Although I do like a fruitier beer in the summertime.
I think I will do it. Like, I have no issue drinking things like outside of season, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But I think I just find it hits differently.
Yeah.
I'll still enjoy it, but it's not necessarily like what I'm seeking out to have per se. But then also, like, there's certain things you can only find during certain parts of the year. So it's like, you know, green hops. I discovered last year when you introduced me to the world of green hops, I was like, these are effing amazing. Love them. But you can't find them outside of green hop season.
Right. So if you had listened to our Bigfoot episode, I went to the Brew York tasting of their Survivor Series beers, and they had a gentleman called Jason who was from Yakima Chief Hops. So we've done the tasting. If you haven't tried the Survivor Series beers, try and go find them because they're very interesting.
I've got them. I've not tried them.
Oh, they're good. I enjoyed them. It's proper beer geekdom moment.
I'm just waiting for the right moment when I can try all four.
Because you've got to do all four together. I mean, you don't have to, but
why wouldn't you?
I think you should. And so we got to the end. And so whenever I go on a brewery tour, one of my favourite questions to ask is, have you ever done a green hop beer? So I asked Brew York if they had ever brewed a green hop beer. And they said no, because they tend to use American hops, and to use a green hop, American hop, you wouldn't get it over quick enough because you've got to use it. You've got to use it within 48 hours of it being picked, and you're not going to get that over quick enough. And interestingly, spoiler that I was very excited about, keep your eyes peeled for this, Jason from Yakima Chief was just like, well, we might be working on something for that. What are they working on?
Yeah,
that is going to emulate a green hop from American hops over here.
Yeah.
So Yakima Chief are doing some fancy science.
Scientists they are.
They are scientists. I mean, they're hop scientists. So keep an eye out for that. Hop science.
I feel like I would love to have a conversation with Yakima Chiefs at some point. I don't think they would ever speak to us. Like, I feel like we are like so below their radar to like have a conversation with us. But like, I feel like I just want to know so much about hops. So be interesting to, if I ever get the chance to have a conversation with them, to be like, tell me about hop science.
I mean, that's more than a podcast worth of information.
Definitely. But yeah, moving on from green hop, I guess realistic, like, I thought it'd be interesting to list places like realistically that we thought we'd get to within the next 6 months, because I think there's lots of places that I want to go. A lot of them are not within the UK. For myself, I can only speak to myself. And I think I was trying to say, like, realistically, in the next 6 months, where we see ourselves in the next 6 months, where are places that we want to make an effort to go to? So for me, I had a few things, like I'm going back to the US, or hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, going back to the US at Christmas to see my family. Had to skip last year because of I don't even know why I skipped last year. No one can figure that one out.
Shocker.
So I'm trying to go this year if it allows. And so, like, for me, I've listed that I want to go to like Treehouse. I've had Treehouse beers, but I've never, it's always been because somebody else that I know has gone to Treehouse and got them. I've never gone myself because it's quite further out into the state, which it's just really funny because, like, everyone, I don't think people realize how big Massachusetts actually is, like, in terms of driving. It's like, you know, I'm guilty of this. Like, you just think of it as like one area of it, but yeah, Western Mass, it's a thing.
How many times can the UK fit into Massachusetts?
It's probably bigger than Massachusetts, I think.
Is it? Because I know that the UK fits into Texas.
If it's into Texas, yeah. Massachusetts isn't that big.
Okay.
I think it's probably more likely, this is going to be so wrong, but it's probably more likely closer to the size of just like New England as a whole than just one state.
Getting that in my...
Yeah, because it's kind of like, to drive to parts of Western Mass, it's like a few hours drive to go to certain parts that way.
Yeah.
But I'd like to go to Treehouse, for example. A bit more difficult in winter just because it's snowy and it's like just the roads are crap, and I mean, I don't where Treehouse is, it seems fairly remote. So I don't know how difficult that is to go to in winter. I don't know if they'll be open at Christmas. I don't know if I'll even be there at Christmas, but places like that are definitely on my list. I think there's like some other Massachusetts, New England based breweries that I've not gone to. Most importantly, Sam Adams, because I have never, but I have born and raised in Boston, within driving distance, like easy driving distance to go to Sam Adams. Never been to Sam Adams.
So I'm going to need you to take a picture of all the merch
of your new apartment
and be like, well, I'm just going to move in and live in there. And then no, that's the tap room. I'm going to move in and live into the tap room. Yeah. This is a conversation we had the other day because
she's going to put her washing line up across the bar.
What beer? What beer was it? There was something they put out because
it was the Pride Month one.
Oh yeah, they got a Pride Month beer out and it sounded delicious. And I was just like, seriously, if I was in Boston, I would just live in the Sam Adams tap room. Like I'd be like, I'm setting up camp here.
I just live here now.
I live here now. This is it. Like, get used to it. I'm living in the corner, like squatters' rights. I'm going to put my washing line up across the bar, but it's fine because it's going to be
because it's just going to be. Pardon me.
Yeah, excuse me. I need to get my washing down, but it'll be fine because my washing is just going to be all Sam Adams merch. So it's basically merch. So I'm basically marketing it, so they'll let me stay.
So it's fine. Like, excuse me, I just need to get that.
Yeah, excuse me. Let me get my t-shirt. It's fun.
I can get you so much. That my goal is to like visit Sam Adams Brewery. I don't even care if I don't do the actual tour because I've gone to so many brewery tours at this point that I'm like, mash ton. Like, when do I get the samples? Like, can I have the samples?
When are the samples?
But yeah, it's literally, I want to get a Sam Adams glass, which is like, you'll know what it is, but God, I'm trying to figure out how to like describe it to people I don't know, but it's like, it goes like straight and then it like bulges out and then it's like a little bit more.
Yeah. So it's, I guess it's kind of like a Craft Master,
but slightly different.
Or the part where you hold is longer than the Craft Master and the bowl is shorter. It's more rounded.
Yeah.
And then it's got a lip on the top, and it took them 2 years to design that with a glass designer to get it perfect. Sam Adams collaborated with a glass designer to create the perfect glass for their beers. I would really like one. I've definitely had about 3.
Have you broken them?
Right, yeah. So I had one and Gordon broke it. I mean, luckily we weren't married because we would have got divorced.
You still married him, that's great.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm so proud.
I still married him even though he broke my Sam Adams glass. And I had a second one. I think I brought 2 home and one of them broke on the way home, so I still have 1.
Other than that, I think I've picked kind of 3 main areas that I want to go to realistically. I want to go to Liverpool, Leeds and York. Just to run through it, really, Liverpool, I want to go to Top Rope. I mean, that's hence the beer. That's kind of the big reason I chose that beer. Hoping to be able to go there and see Neil and hang out.
I've not been to Liverpool.
I've gone twice.
Gordon won't go.
Why?
Because he's a Man United fan. And I'm like, but football. Beer.
So I'll go with you. I've gone twice, and it's mainly because I went on my anniversary road trip for our first anniversary because I wanted to go see Beatles things. Then my parents came to visit, and my dad's a massive Beatles fan, so we took my parents so that my dad could go on the Beatles tour. But I never actually went out and drank there, so I want to go Top Rope, Dead Crafty Beer Co. After we heard Vicky talking on that Kindred event that Full Circle hosted, it sounded amazing. I was like, I have to go there, so that's definitely one to go. Love Lane, Carnival Brewing, they've got Head of Steam there, which I won a t-shirt from them once, and when I looked at the selection they had, and they picked out like a box of beer for me. Amazing selections they made. It was all really cool, so I'd be keen to go there and see it in person. So I mean, if anyone's got other recommendations of where to see in Liverpool, Neptune. I forgot about that. I forgot about that completely. I don't know why. I think I started to write it down and then it never made it to my actual list. So that's on there. Leeds, I've got to go to Nomadic, obviously. North Yorkshire Craft Beer Shop. I've gone there to pick beers up, but that was a flying visit on my way up to Whitby. If I was in Leeds, I'd like to go there for a bit longer. Ridgeside, they've got a Head of Steam there. Rainville Superstore, Craft Asylum, Blunderbuss, which isn't a brewery, it's a restaurant, but they do really good craft beer selections. They've done like collabs with people like Daya and stuff. They did the hot sauce collaborations. They've done all these different, they're very, even though they're a restaurant, they're very crafty in their products as well, and they're very good with their craft beer. So like that's one destination I definitely want to go to. And I think Brew York just opened up there as well, so that'd be interesting to see. Literally there's so many there, I could list a million things. I'm not going to do it, but York, really the focus for York is House of Trembling Madness and the original Brew York. If possible, I mean, the ideal for me is kind of collaborate, like do a whole Leeds York squash of a weekend, go by Knaresborough. Donna, who picked this up from Blind Jack's, sent us me she's around Knaresborough. I'd love to see Donna go to Blind Jack's pub, because I hear they've got like a really killer selection of beer. I'd really like to go to Turning Point, obviously Helen in Leeds. Like there's so many people and places I want to go to in that general area. I feel like I just have to go. And one place that I know I'm definitely going to is Newcastle for a wedding in September. So the main thing for me, if I can go to Full Circle, Wylam, and By the River Brew Co, I'm happy as a clam. That to me, that's a successful trip. So trying to convince my husband to stay over the Saturday night as well, because the wedding's on the Friday. If I can do that, that's going to be where I choose to go for the Saturday, and I'm sure he's going to love every minute of it, because he is just such a wonderful human being. And I had to also say honorable mention for Miracle. I know I mentioned them at the beginning, but like I don't even try to hide my love for Emma and Ollie. They're like brilliant human beings. Like I don't even try to hide it.
To go see them.
They are brilliant. I know a few months back they announced that they found like a permanent location for them for their kit, because they had the kit, they didn't have a spot for the kit to go. They've got that now. If they had it open and ready to go, we probably would have been there to visit already. I don't think it's likely, if I'm honest, that it will be open within the next 6 months for us to be able to go. It might be, I have no idea, but realistically, I don't know if that's in the cards for 6 months, or how long it's going to take them to get set up and to get an actual tap room area set up. Don't know. But honourable mention, because we definitely would have been there to see them. So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Any places that you particularly want to go to?
So I've done Nottingham before. But I would like to do Nottingham again, because Liquid Light now have their own tap room. I have plans for that. And obviously if you're in Nottingham, then you've got to go to Neon Raptor.
I mean, yeah.
I've been to Neon Raptor's tap room, but it was kind of a bit of a flying visit, so I'd like to go back to that.
I'll get you Sam Adams merch. You have to get me Neon Raptor merch.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that's a deal. Like
that's a fair deal.
We can make this happen. So definitely need to do a little trip to Nottingham. I'd like to go to Birmingham and visit Kimberley and Tilt. Craft beer pin-up. Yeah, if he doesn't know who Kimberley is. And go to Tilt, because apparently that is an amazing craft beer bar.
Is that a pinball place? Because I feel like it's a pinball place.
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard about that, and I hear it's really cool.
Yeah, so that's really cool. And yeah, Leeds and definitely York. Like Women's Pint Club were having a mad discussion at one point about we want to do a
York
girls trip to York. Yeah, that's it for the minute. I'm sure like there's loads of other places that I would love to go to. I'm not even contemplating out of the country at the moment, because I don't think that's feasible.
That's it. Like, to be fair, the only reason I did is because I know that where I'm going to be, I'm going to be in Massachusetts. So I can broaden my horizon in that aspect. Other than that, I was like, I'll just pick UK, because realistically, there's lots of places I want to go to, like Stockholm and like
Belgium. I need to do Belgium again. Yeah, I need to.
It's just not realistic for the next 6 months, I don't think. But like you said, there's so many other places. Like I would love to go Fallen Acorn and Staggeringly Good and do that side of things. And there's so many places I want to go to, but I've just tried to isolate mine to like top 3 areas, and anything else outside of that is a bonus.
I mean, I might need to do a Reading trip.
Oh, you have to. So literally there's so many places we can go, like even just for like within Berkshire.
I've got to drop it. We've got to drop in on Charlotte at Phantom. Go drop in at the weather station for wild weather. We need to pop into Elusive and Siren and Double Barreled.
It's going to be an epic day of
I want to do, actually, do you know where I do want to do, which I forgot about? I want to do Wapping Wharf at Bristol for Wild Beer Co.
Yeah, now that you say that, you've just reminded me that I'm going to be in Bristol for Bristol Craft Beer Festival. And I didn't order the Ninkasi set that had the champagne flutes because I was being cheap, because I really wanted the champagne flutes. And then I was like, girl, rein it in. You don't need the branded champagne flutes.
I've been saying that since Christmas, that I don't need the champagne flutes, and they're still sitting there.
I almost
I know,
did it.
I've been this close several times.
I was very close until it was like, if you spend £5 more and go up to X amount, you'll get free shipping. And I was like, I shouldn't spend that much. So I was like, no, you're not getting that. Like, girl,
that's how
I've got that.
That's how I've got this pile of Neptune.
But I mean, like, if I'm there and they have it,
and they have them,
like, that's a sign.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say no to that.
No,
it's rude. It's just rude. We could split one and take a champagne flute each.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan.
There we go. Sold. Got it. Got you covered.
Then our husbands won't go mad because we've got more glasses.
Yeah, you'll see on the next recorder when I have all my glassware set up. I just bought a calyx for all my glassware.
Nice.
I'm not going to fill a calyx because I'm going to spread it out and move it to different parts, so you're not going to know how much glassware I have. Could probably fit on a calyx though at this point. So that's that. That's travel. That's travel covered. And now, before we get to the really fun part, which is looking at our Untappd stats, let's crack open our last beer. Do you want to say what our last?
Yes,
we've got a shared theme of brewery.
Yes.
So
I'm excited about this one. So this is my very first beak. I have got Real, which is a Talus IPA. If you've listened to the podcast before, you'll know that I have a great love for Talus. So I was right in on that one. Bought that at Docker in Canterbury. So very pleased with that. What one's your one?
I've got the fun name one. I've got Oopla. Oopla. It's a fun name. It's a 10% Imperial Stout. So,
Nightcap.
Yeah, that's why I thought I'd end on this one.
I mean, mine's 7%.
I think basically it's like Beak were a brewery that we both, it wasn't necessarily on the list, but it's one that we have been like consistently say like we really want to try it.
I keep seeing everybody with Beak and I keep going, I haven't had a Beak yet, and everyone's like, girl, go get yourself a Beak. And I was like, I know, but I just haven't put one in the basket.
Got around to
it. They've not even been put in the basket and been snipped. Like
they didn't even get sachet away.
I just haven't done it.
They didn't even get sachet away. They didn't get to the, because like again, it's that thing of by the time you get to them like on the page, you're like, this basket is already super full. So I'm just going to cut my losses here. Or they're just not there.
Yeah.
I think they're quite difficult to get hands on. So I know I picked mine up at the Hive.
Yeah, and I bought,
which is local to me, and you
I
got
bought
yours
mine at a bottle shop. Yeah. So,
and when I said, do you have any Beacon still, because I knew they had some, they were like, all we have left is the Imperial Stout, and they said they're trying to get more, but I think it is more difficult to get hands on, so they will eventually get more in, but I don't know if it's the volume that's going out, or I don't know how frequently they sort of brew. I don't know any of that, so just happy to get it. I was like, I'll take the stout, it's fine. I feel like we should have done a swap. Like I should have that one. Yeah. You should have
my Talus. Get your hands off my Talus.
I'm doing a flip-flop.
Yeah. I've got two, because I've also got Cliff, which was the Saison. Nice. But I'm saving that one because we know how I like Saisons, and I want to quietly sip on one of those.
Mine must be really warm.
Are you fuzzing as well? Let's see how this one goes.
To be fair, it has been sat out for a while because I took it out for an hour. Then we had a chat before recording for quite a while.
Yeah, we've been saying, oh, mine's not too bad.
So mine is probably really warm. So I've got to be polite. Got to be extra polite to it.
Mine's okay. Look at that. That's quite good.
To be fair, like once it initially goes away, it's fine. What's yours like?
It's got that lovely sage aroma that you get from Talus.
Mine's very roasty. Mine's got that nice roastiness.
And it's got like a bit of a lemony background. Right, I'm going in.
I like so I'm going to read the back of this because I like the descriptor on it in the first sentence. This unctuous imperial strength stout was brewed with oats, flaked barley, and complex mix of crystal and roasted malts before being infused with whole vanilla pods and Brazilian coffee from our friends at Pharmacy, an independent micro roaster just down the road. Expect rich, heady aromas of cacao, tobacco, white oak, and licorice.
Oh, nice.
So, unctuous. I really like that word. It's great. Explains the roastiness for sure. And I do understand. I understand where the cacao and the tobacco are coming from.
Yeah.
And a bit woody. Like I can get oak. I don't think I'd be able to say like what's white oak and what's not. I don't know specific. I don't get licorice so much, if I'm honest.
I think I have trouble picking up licorice, but I think it's because I don't like it.
I'm not a licorice fan either.
Yeah. Right, so mine says, have you tried Talus? We love this hop and have paired it here with another of our favourite hop varieties, Mosaic. We're getting aromas of ripe blueberries, Parma violets, and fresh lavender. How about you? Well, Beak, I'm getting sage.
Well, you are wrong.
No, they're not wrong. They're not wrong. It's just different. I'm getting sage and lemon. So have that.
I'm just waiting for you like, well, Beak. We have discussions.
I think I'm getting a bit of violet as well. Sage, violet, and lemon.
I'm really quite enjoying it.
Tell you what, I'm not getting that Mosaic. Talus takes over.
No broccoli.
No.
I think that's the first. That's literally the first time that you've had Mosaic and you've gone, no, I don't smell it.
No, the Talus is completely smothering it. Which doesn't upset me.
It doesn't upset me in the slightest. But yeah.
See, now I've read Parma Violet, I'm getting Parma Violet.
You shouldn't have read it.
Shouldn't have read it. Sage.
You shouldn't have read it.
Sage, lemon, violet. Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
I'm getting my Untappd out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's getting her Untappd out.
Oi, oi. It's the weekend. It's the freaking weekend. I'm getting my Untappd out.
What are you looking at on your Untappd?
Well, I'm going to the statistics, Joanne. Do you care to join me in the statistics session?
Sure.
Annoyingly, I can kind of only...
Where are you finding your statistics?
So, if you go into your profile, click statistics. So what's annoying is you can't go on to month, year, custom or any of that because we don't pay for the subscription. And I'm not paying for
I have done in the past.
Out of curiosity, what did you find was useful about paying for the subscription?
So, the literal reason that I paid for the subscription was so that I could download my list of beers. Because I was going through, and as we know, dear listeners, if you have been here for a while, I have a beer journal, and I keep written notes of all of my beers. But I only started that handwriting in a journal after I'd already been checking in on Untappd and taking digital notes because it was wearing out the battery of my phone when I was on a long session. So I started doing it manually. So I then went back and went through a phase where I wanted to write notes in like what I refer to as my legacy notebooks, for the ones that I hadn't written in a notebook in the first place. So to do that, I didn't want to have to keep scrolling to get back. You can download a spreadsheet of all of your beers and your notes and everything about it if you're a supporter. So I did that.
I just want to highlight that if we got the money for a soundboard,
yeah,
when you had just said scrolling, I would have overlaid that with a good bit of Limp Bizkit. scrolling. Yeah. I'm just trying to elaborate
on why you should become a supporter of the podcast so that we can have a soundboard.
Give me a soundboard, please. You don't even need to support. At some point, I will go and I will just buy a soundboard.
We'll just go get one. We don't care.
And I just want you to know the things that can delight you. about us getting a soundboard is just so you know, every time Joanne says that she's going to just keep scrolling, you're going to get some sweet Limp Bizkit sound effects.
You're just nodding your head to Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, I was. But yeah, what's annoying, so we're going to have to do this kind of based on more the last week, because you can't, I don't pay for this. I'm not going to pay for this.
My last week's got 0.
Oh, boo. I can tell you my statistics. Well, can you not change them? Oh, no, you can't change.
No, because you've got to pay for that. Oh, I've got no statistics.
She's got no statistics. But I can tell you, I'll go through my statistics then. So for the last week, which is the 2nd of July to the 9th of July, you've got this pot. If you're watching the video, I can show you my graph, sort of. It's not really focused up very well. But
it's basically one
line.
hump.
That one hump is the total beers, and then my venues have pretty much stayed flat because I've all done them as Untappd at home. Yep, it's been anywhere. Untappd at home. Even when I've gone places, I've just gone Untappd at home. That's fine. I've got 186 new beers. This was my frantic check-in. I've not drank 186 beers in the week. 222 check-ins, again frantic. But I guess this kind of does incorporate a lot of the year. Actually, my statistics are probably quite good because this does incorporate a strong chunk of the year.
Yes.
And then one new venue, 32 beers per day.
Girl.
Somebody at Untappd.
It's like
must think like
they must be like, do we need to get hold of this person?
I thought that they implemented something. Like, I swear, somebody said they implemented something that if you checked in too many beers, especially high ABV beers,
I was thinking about this the other day.
They would basically tell you off. Like, they would be like,
because it's like you need to slow down because you're drinking too many. Yeah, there was what it used to pop up. They tell you to slow
down. They've not told me to slow down. They're like, girl, keep going.
Because I was thinking about that when I was putting all of mine in. I was like, that's weird. I remember previously that I had it like, oh, are you sure? Because you're checking in an awful lot of beers. And I think they have.
Are you sure you want to check in this?
Yeah, they were like, are you sure you sure you want to drink some more? And it was like, yeah, because I'm not actually drinking it. I'm just checking it in. But I think it has become an app where people check in at a later date. So they actually, maybe they've turned that feature off. It was quite a long time ago.
No one warned me.
No kind of pop up. Drink responsibly.
No, everybody. No. They were like, girl, keep going.
Yeah.
Like, the world is yours. And I was like, great. So I just kept checking in. 32 beers per day is what I've averaged over the last week because I am wild. I'm a wild woman. 84% new beer ratio. It's quite good. And a 50% new venue ratio, which is funny considering I've got new venues of one. So is that are they telling me that I've basically got like 2 venues?
Ever.
Not true. You know what it is?
Is the other one Siren?
No. Maybe. No, because I've checked into Phantom.
If you are playing the podcast drinking game, drink.
To be fair, I think the one new venue was probably Phantom or something. Something like that, or somewhere specific. But that's only over the last week. I've had to have more because I've definitely checked into Phantom and I've checked into Siren, obviously. Drink again. Cheers. Yes, it's just weird that it's 50%. But yeah, I don't know. And I've always had Untappd at home, so that's not a new venue for me because I always use that. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I can see all my venue history, but only for the last week. I can tell you... my top beers of that week, I'll say my top one.
Go on then.
Do you want to guess?
Was it Siren?
Yeah, it was. Enter Strata.
Oh,
and that's
really?
because I had 3 check-ins of it. Because to be fair, like I think I got it in the Siren box. And
is that what constitutes your top beer then? Because you've checked it in more than once.
I think so, yeah. So it's basically...
I never get any of those stats because I generally only ever check in a beer once.
Yeah, so what's happened is, because I've obviously checked them all in one go, and then like I used to buy, when all the new releases came out, I'd buy 2 of each, one for me and one for my husband. And then I found that that actually meant I was buying quite a lot of beer, and it was getting drunk slower because he'd want to try some of mine, but doesn't necessarily want the full one. So unless it's something I really, really, really wanted, I cut back. But Enter Strada was one that I was still buying sort of 2, and then it came in, I think, the birthday box. So I ended up with 3. So I checked in 3 of those. I checked in 2 of Chapter Brewing's Kolsch called Knew the Storm, because I accidentally bought the second one of those, not really realizing I already had one. Got Brewdog Barnard Castle eye test, because I got 2 of those sent to me. A lovely person sent them through to you, and you sent them through to me because I wanted the can. 2 Bernard Black from Wild Weather, 2 Bubbling Bubbles, 2 Feeling This. That 2 Feeling This, that's obviously just in this week. If we looked at the year overall, Feeling This would probably be like close to the top, because I've had that so many times. I've had so many cans of it, had a growler filled of it. Like, it's probably one of the beers that I could just easily session, like no problem. It's really lovely.
I reckon, having to think back to things that I've drunk this year, if we're doing it on that, mine would probably be a Hobgoblin, because I have it several times. I have that for classes, because it's a very good example of a malty beer, and because it's a beer that's malt driven, and I like it because it's that lovely red colour. So you compare that next to a stout and a Pilsner, and you've got a lovely range of what malt does to beer.
Here's a question though, like when you've got 2 or more of the same beer, and you check it in on Untappd, do you tend to change the rating, or do you just leave it as is?
Good question, because there are a couple that I've gone back to over time. What did I check in the other day? So I've tried some like more traditional beers again, where I've been using them to learn from. I've been testing myself on them. And one I changed the rating for quite drastically. I think it was Pilsner Urquell that I think I'd given it like a 3.75, and I popped it up to a 4.75 because I was just like,
I find I normally go the opposite way.
No, I with that one I popped it up because I was like, actually, I drank that going, oh, it's just a lager, and I think some of my lager ratings have been low because I'm like, oh, it's just a lager. I wasn't really appreciating, and because a lager is more subtle in its flavors, you have to I find that I have to mindfully drink it if I really want to understand it. And then I pick up the interesting parts of it because they're clean and easy drinking. And so unless you're really going, right, what does that smell like? What are the flavors and the aromas that I'm getting from this? They're just very easy. And so you don't always pick up those lovely nuances that are in there. And I don't think I'd done that with that. And actually, I really enjoy a Czech Pilsner, and that is the Czech Pilsner. And I was just like, I really enjoy this. And we did it, as it turns out, we did Czech Pilsners in the beer tent.
In the beer tent.
I compared several Czech Pilsners that evening, and I was like, Pilsner Urquell's the one for me. Like, I really enjoyed that. And so I was like, I'm going to check this back in. Oh, I was sat there like, bloop, bloop, bloop. Yep, that's a 4.75. And then I was like, oh, I only gave it a 3.75 previously. Pop that up. So yeah, I do.
It's funny. I always find it's opposite for me.
Oh, really? You put them down.
So the majority, I don't bother to change. Like when it's stuff that I know I've had like consistently, I don't bother changing it because I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered. Fine. But there have been some that I know I've checked in before that when I was less developed in my taste, or my tastes were a lot different than they have grown to be now, I've given something a 4 or like close to a 5, and I've had it now and I'm like, oh, I'm really embarrassed of like even giving that, like even something that's not bad, like it is not a bad beer. So I'm gonna say it, but I don't mean this in a negative way because we've talked about this beer before. I've said the Clearwater Lager from Brew. Love their initiative, love everything they do. It's a really good sessionable beer. I think when I had first checked it in, like the very first time, I think I rated it a lot higher then maybe like when I checked it in the next time, I kind of rated it lower. And that's not because it's a bad beer, but
so
I think
your scale of taste has changed.
My scale of taste has changed. And I find that that's a beer that's really good for like people that are getting into craft beers as well. I think it's quite difficult because like even within a brewery, like a brewery is going to have some more entry level friendly beers as opposed to more like advanced intense beers. So I think my taste has just changed and what I'm looking for has changed. So like certain ratings. So that brings me to another point of kind of like how we rate on Untappd. Like I know a lot of places it's a big controversy. I'm not going to get into all of it because I think we've touched on it before in the past. We've touched on it. I think we spoke to Tim at Fallen Acorn. We've touched on it a few times. And it's a sensitive subject. I understand all points of view on it. The way I tend to rate things is I tend to rate things based on my personal taste, but I do understand how it gets used as marketing and how it does impact a brewery with their audience. So I know that if it's something that doesn't taste right, it's a bad batch, like it's clearly a bad batch. It's not just a bad beer. I don't like saying that, but for lack of a better term, unbalanced beer or something. If it's something that's like maybe stored improperly or out of date or anything, like if I didn't take notes, so I don't really know or I don't remember because it's a historic check-in, I won't rate them because I don't think that's fair. It could have been the best beer in the world, but if I don't remember what it tastes like and I didn't make notes, I just knew it was good.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's fair to attribute a rating to it, so I just don't do it. But yeah, I think there's some that I've checked in thinking it was really great, and then I've gone back and I've gone, maybe my taste has changed, or maybe it just wasn't as quality as I thought it was at the time because of what I was exposed to, and then I've changed the rating. So I've gone downward as opposed to upward. But as a whole, that's a long-winded way of saying though, as a whole, I don't touch it. I just leave it as it is. I'm lazy.
Brilliant.
Top breweries, unsurprisingly in first place, we have Siren with 15 check-ins.
Shocker.
We have Elusive in second place with 10 check-ins. Phantom in third place with 8 check-ins. Those are your podiums. But actually, hang on. We've got a tie for third place. Oh. We've got Phantom and Wild Weather clocking in at 8 check-ins apiece in this last week. So they've shared podium 3. And then
I love it.
Next up, honourable mention goes to Three Hills.
Those
are the top breweries. I don't know if that's based on
local.
That's it. That's what I think it is. So to clear it up, to make it clear, because I understand people joke. I can take a joke. I don't mind the joke. When it comes to like the likes of Siren and stuff, not a massive fangirl in the sense of I'm like, they do no wrong. I think they make really quality beers. That's why you don't find me saying this is really shit, because I think they make, on the whole, really quality beers. If there's something that I haven't liked, it's normally because of my taste buds, like barley wines. Doesn't tend to be within the realm of what I enjoy. That's why I don't really say anything bad. It's just not for me. But you'll find that I drink them a lot because they're my local brewery. So I can just rock up to theirs, buy a bunch of beer, and Elusive's right there. I can just go across, buy a bunch of beer from both, take it home, try it. That's why I've tried the majority of things. So to clarify, I support local. That's all my top 4.
But how often do I go, you should buy some Boutilliers? Like, they're my local ones. And I'm like, go get some of that.
But yeah, those were my top breweries. I love the fact they were all top 4 was local.
Looking at what the last lot where that I checked in, I think my top brewery would be Buxton's, because I got their whole range of Lupulus X beers. Which are that's their single hopped.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the single topped ones, isn't it?
And I grabbed a whole bunch of those because I wanted to try all the different hops. And that's when, I had tried Cryopop before I'd had it with the Brew York beers, because originally it was TRI 2304CR.
I think we've talked about that before.
And I had
conventions of hops.
And I had the Lupulus X version of that, and I was like, oh wait, I've had that.
I love my top venues. I've got 2 top venues.
Yep.
Oh, I've attributed what the new venue is now. I figured it out.
Oh yeah.
The first one is Untappd at Home,
right?
Which is 202 check-ins over the last over the last week. And then my next one is 1 check-in, which is Untappd Virtual Festival Go Hard, presented by Halftime Beverage.
Oh, what was that?
That's some event that's in North Carolina. But
why did you check into that?
Because I just wanted to know if there was a badge for it.
That's cheating. You weren't really there.
I could have been.
Oh my God.
It's a virtual festival. They don't know where I've been. They don't know my life story.
Someone's cheating for Untappd badges.
Well, if you realise it didn't give me a badge, so it was all for naught. My top styles, here we go. I'll give you my top 4 because those are double digits.
Yeah.
I've got, it's a bit difficult, isn't it? So top style 1, weighing in at 18, is IPA American. Then
Shocker.
Yeah. Then weighing in at 17, we've got IPA New England. Again, shock. Then 16 after that, Pale Ale American, and then tied for the 16 is sour fruited. But what I think would change things is you've got like the breakdown here of like the next one down is 6, which is IPA Imperial / double New England. So it's like if you actually tallied up all the New Englands and all the Americans and all, like, you know, West Coasts, probably New England would be top. Because then the next one down is Pale Ale New England 6. So it's like, you can tell I'm from New England.
So mine, see, just scrolling through the last lot that I've done, I think IPA would pinch it. Scrolling. I think IPA would pinch it just because I've got a whole bunch of these lupulous X's that I did close together because they were IPAs.
Kel Surprise.
Yeah, but to showcase the hop.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that it's not like you didn't have like 3 stouts to make up for every one.
Oh, well, no, I've got quite a mix in this one, actually. Let's see what the last ones were. I've still got a whole bunch I've got to check in that I haven't done. But so I've got a pastry stout, a New England IPA, a Lichtenhainer.
How do you even spell that?
LICHTENHAINER. It's a slightly smoked beer. It was delicious. It's from Abbeydale's Funk Dungeon.
Oh, I got the funk in Drublic, and I got it because of NoFX. I was like, I need to have that.
Do you know what? I should have put the Funk Dungeon from Abbeydale on my list because I had that one, which was a lemon and rosemary beer with slight smoke to it. Delicious. And I recently had their red wine barrel aged saison, which was from the Funk Dungeon, and it was amazing.
The more you call out these beers, the more that I'm like, can we go travel to different places together? You make me really excited to go drink with you and try. I have pulled up the ratings of the last week of beer by brewery.
Who
do you think is spot number 1?
I mean, Siren.
No.
Is it not?
It is not.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. I'll let you get one more guess out of it, just in case.
Is it Phantom?
It is Phantom.
We do enjoy a bit of Phantom, though.
Phantom, you did it. Congratulations.
You have knocked Siren off the top spot.
Yeah.
Well done. This is what, so if we had a soundboard, if we had a soundboard, we'd have like a woo.
I'm waiting for the if you don't pay for our soundboard, we're just going to do our own soundboard. Yeah. So out of like 5 ratings, both. That's that's who I was channeling. Basically, both Phantom and Siren were out of 5 ratings each.
Ooh.
Phantom was 4.45 average.
Ooh. Yeah.
And Siren was 4.30.
It was close.
But yeah, it's out of the things I've rated in the last week. And to be fair, to be completely fair and transparent, the majority of things I haven't rated for either. They were just check-ins. And these are all historic rate. Like I said, I don't change the ratings. It's historic ratings. And I imagine that Phantom probably clinched it because of Soak Up the Sun.
Oh.
Because I just was like 5 stars.
I've got that in the fridge.
All
I haven't
stars.
tried it yet.
Can I give you 10 stars? I don't know if I can. Loved it. But yeah, so Phantom's 4.45, Siren is 4.30, Vault City is the 3rd place at 3.75. Although this doesn't this doesn't quite make sense, right? Because you've got Phantoms out of 5 ratings, Sirens out of 5 ratings, Vault Cities out of 4. But beating all of them is Full Circle with 4.58.
Yeah.
But the difference is that's only got 3 ratings to it. But again, it comes down to like, then there's Elusive, then there's Wild Weather. So like a lot of them are quite local. And I think it's because those are the ones I'm more likely rated on the spot.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are my top ratings by brewery.
There you go. Go and have a look at your Untappd stats, everybody.
And then, yeah, my last one is ratings by serving style. So I've got draft 4.59, bottle 3.92, can 3.99, and cask 3.50. I don't think that's really fair because I think
it's only one cask.
It's not. I don't feel like it's exactly. I also don't think it's fair that it's like something may happen to be in a bottle and not a can. Like I don't think it's gonna impact the taste so much that it's gonna be it's better out of this.
No.
Those are my ratings. So moving swiftly on from there, my Untappd ratings to the last segment. I have 5 goals picked out for me of what I want to do for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Just 5 vague goals. Do you have any on your end of anything you've picked out for yourself for the next 5?
So
6 months?
I want to try more lager styles and calibrate my tasting palette for those. I also want to taste and probably do content, TikToks, etc., about more general styles. So
you're going to say like buying beer?
No,
your Shantae you stay video.
I mean, mate, that's already in the bank. So I've got I have recently picked up. I've got one here. Here's one she bought earlier. I bought an oatmeal stout from Neptune. That's my colours. I want
black and grey.
Because I'm going to do a bit about oatmeal stouts. I've got a porter. I've got a vice beer, some general styles. Again, using those to calibrate my palate on what they should taste like, what they could taste like. So that's a goal, to get a bit more tasting practice.
And I'm going to point it out because I know you're not going to promote it yourself, but also like Beer 10 Society, you do the different styles every month. I'm in on that because I want to learn about all these different styles every month. So check that out if you've got any interest in learning about the different styles. Because I know you won't actively
I always forget to do it.
There's I think that you're also very you're very modest about some of it, and I think it's really great. The chat's great. There's lots of good bants in there. Rob's usually taking the pee out of me for something, or taking the pee out of Joe.
It's a really nice community, and you get to come and try different beer styles. I think we've tried some really varying styles, and it's a good way to push yourself out of your tasting comfort zone. If that's something you want to do, if you want to try the different beers, you've just got to basically get out there and try them.
But it's also interesting to go, there's this brewery I've really, like we said at the beginning of the episode, this brewery I really like this one I didn't like. And then you push us to kind of say, well, why didn't you like
it? And that's always my question. Well, why didn't you like about it? What is the difference between that one and that one? And in the Beer Tent Society, we'll pick a style. I've got a list that we're working our way through, and I encourage everyone to get at least 2, if not 3, sometimes maybe 4, depending on the ABV.
4 in the past.
Yeah, I've definitely done 4 in the past. To try next to each other from different breweries, so you can be like, okay, well, this is, and we'll generally try and find one that is the classic example, and then you can get something that's a bit more modern with a little bit of a twist on it to see what the differences are. And that's just a really good way of learning about beer, building your understanding of what's going to potentially be in your glass when you buy that style. And when you learn those different things, you can, if you look at my Untappd ratings, most of them are 3.75 or above. And that is because I've tried a lot of different styles and I know what I like. And so I can easily go, right, well, I'm going to like that. I'm going to pick that. And if you have that, start to build that knowledge, you can know that you're going to pick things that you like. So come join us in the beer tent, yo.
I think what I really like as well is you kind of always set it up in a way that you can get that traditional style, but also you also try to make suggestions, and you're like, here's something that's quite easy to find. So if you are a person that is more like, At the moment, I don't go as much into bottle shops because I'm a bit newer into it. I don't know as much. I tend to rely on supermarkets. Like Joe's always also really good at being like, here's something you can find in a supermarket. So like, even as a person like myself, I want
it to be accessible.
Even as a person like myself who normally does actually buy from independents, I tend to utilize the supermarket for very last minute purchases. I'm eternally behind on everything. So when Joe's like, just remember we've got the session tomorrow, and I'm like, shit the bed, I don't have that one. I need one more. What can I get? She's
Speaking
like,
of which,
go to Tesco.
Have you got your GERS for?
We're not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that later.
You know that's next week, don't you?
We'll talk about that next week on Thursday ahead of Friday. So don't even worry about it. It's fine. I've got it under control because they're like the easiest ones to find.
GERS is so easy to find. Yeah. She says, shaking her head when she did warn them all that they would have to probably do a bottle shop order for this month's one.
It's fine. I've got it under control. Just leave it up to me. I got this.
Okay.
I'm the queen of pulling it out last minute. I've got this. But yeah, I think you're really good at doing that. And then I think on top of that as well, we also do, like, we're going to be doing more over the next few months as well. There's some more like styles that we want to focus in on as well. Yeah. And I think it kind of goes without saying, we've said it before, we'll say it again. If there's styles you want to know about, like we've done the stouts, we've done the black styled, anything you want to hear about, let us know because we'll do an episode on it. Not a problem. We love doing. We've had a few people send in requests and we actually like doing it because they were like, oh, that's a fun one we didn't think of. But I think we've got some really interesting ones that are going to be
we've got some fun ones coming your way. So watch out for those.
And I think we need to do an Oktoberfest again.
We do need to do Oktoberfest again. Yeah,
double Oktoberfest.
I think we should pick something slightly different. Maybe we'll do Weissbier against Marzen against Oktoberfest as the Oktoberfest head to head.
We'll think about it. We'll have a think. We'll have a think of something good, but we'll definitely do another October. But I think we are going to do more style ones as well. Maybe we can branch out into, hop styles and stuff like that to supplement what you do in your school, because obviously you do your school as well. So that's things for people to check out if they want to push their boundaries as well. Not to promote you too much, but I know that you won't promote yourself. So sorry. And your next point about what your goal for the rest of the year is. I wanted to make sure I got your shameless self-promotion in.
Do you know what I need to get to? I know we've already talked about places that we want to go to, but I need to go to Boutilia's tap room because I have still not been. I've not been able to get to it. I mean, it's literally down the road. Like,
to be fair, it's probably shut for quite a while, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's one of those where I can get to it on the train. It's literally across the road from the train station, but it's one of those where I've just got to organise that trip.
And to be fair, I imagine so there's a few people that live in it, like the original Women's Pint Club people that are around you that will go out. But I imagine it's probably not as easy. Like it's not like we're making a trek to London where we're going to hit up a bunch of places. Sort of thing.
We need to, and that's the next thing I need to get a in-person Women's Pint Club back together. We need to do one of those. Those are my goals.
Those are pretty good goals, to be
Thanks.
fair. I just picked top 5 goals, just to run through and basically meeting new people again that I spoke to on social media. I met a whole bunch of them at Bigfoot Festival, and that was the most amazing thing.
It was so good.
I loved it so much. Just to be like, you are the type of people that helped get through. Just how I don't feel that I think there's a lot of people that struggled more than I did in COVID, because I'm fine. My husband and I are fine with being isolated in our house with our dog. That's not a problem. But it was really nice having those connections to the outside world, because I do find that I do quite well with internet connections, but it was really nice seeing people in person that I had those connections with online. And I just want to keep meeting more people and seeing again the people that I already met at least once, like Helen and those people, and the people from Instagram or people that we've had on the podcast that I'm Mirakai people, Emma and Ollie, want to go see them in person. That's going to be amazing. We've got to do a drag show or something with them.
Yes.
Tim, Fallen Acorn, Neil at Top Rope. I would love to go see all these breweries of people that I've interacted with personally, people I've interacted with on Instagram. Just love to have a meet up and see more people and see you more, and Women's Pint Club more. Love that. That's my first goal of what I want to do more of this this year.
Yep.
If I can at least get another like 2 meetups done in the next 6 months, I'll be quite happy. So I think that's a pretty reasonable goal. It's not overly ambitious. I think it's pretty fair.
We've got to get together and drink the donut beer.
Yeah, we do. That's that. You know what? Let's tack that on to that one as part of the meeting people. Like, I want to meet Lisa and Hailey B in person for one, and
Rachel,
and I want to get together and I want to have that donut beer, even if it means I've got to travel somewhere and stay the night or the weekend or whatever. I want to do it. So that's the goal. Have the donut beer as a group. Be great. That's my first one. I've got 10 more bottle shares because, to be honest, before this, I never would have attended a bottle share because I was way too nervous of turning up alone, because my husband will do it. But if I said to him on like a Thursday night, there's a bottle share happening, do you want to go? He'd be like, not really that bothered. Or if it's between a bottle share or do something else he's more interested in, he's less likely to want to do the bottle share. So there was some times that I was like, I could go to this pre-COVID, but I don't want to go by myself, and I can tell he doesn't really want to go to it. He'd go for me, but he doesn't really want to go. But I think I've like spoken to so many people now, and I've put myself out there in these settings so much that actually I would happily go and just communicate with people on my own and have a good time. So I want to go to more bottle shares. I know like my friend Adam that I've met up with once already to do a bottle share. We're already talking about the second one we can do. So really excited to do that. Because that's another good way of what we said before. You have a really good beer, you want to share that experience
and getting to share it and get to try different things, because everyone brings something interesting.
I want to go to one of Tim's like Kushti Beer Mate ones, because like he was the one that convinced me when we spoke to him at like when we interviewed him, and he was just like, just do it, just go and just do it. And I was like, yeah, he's like, come to, like, we have a good time with people, we make people feel like they're not alone. And I was like, you know what, you're right, I'm going to start just saying yes and just doing them more. So that's my second one. And then linking to that, my third one is just to go outside my comfort zone more and attend more events at the local breweries around me, even if I'm going alone. Say yes to more events that are happening. Like if they have Oktoberfest at Phantom, I really want to go to that. I'm sure my husband will go to that, but even if he didn't, I'd still go, because, you know, I'm just going to say yes and go. And even if I go by myself and drink alone and read a book, I'll be happy, because I'd rather go to the event and experience it after the last year we had than not go at all. So that's my third one.
Can I tack one onto that? That's just occurred to me. I need to go to my local homebrew club meetup.
Oh.
So pre-pandemic, they were meeting on a Wednesday and I couldn't go because that's my brownie night. So I wasn't able to go, but I think they've been moving the day around.
How many people are in that group?
It's a variety of different people. Like the numbers kind of change and stuff. I did go to one of their because they started doing virtual ones, and I did go to one of those during the pandemic. So I did go to one of those.
Nice.
Or attended it via Zoom. But they've started meeting in person. And the last couple of times I've not been able to go because either it was brownie night again or other life things were in the way. So I'm keeping an eye on when they are, because I would like to go to one of those, and I need to take one of my homebrews with me, at least one.
I can tack one onto that then, because my fourth one is that part of my list of what I would really like to do before the end of the year is I would love to be able to brew a beer with you.
Yeah,
like I would love to be able to brew a beer in general, whether that's with you, with a brewery, with anybody else. But ideally, I would really like to be able to like have you teach me how to brew a beer and do a beer together, and then we can go to Butilia's. That's my idea. Was I'll spend a night.
I know the one
nearby.
We need to brew. We need to.
Should we spoiler this, or should we keep this under wraps?
I think we need to brew Brave Noise.
What's that?
Have you seen Brave Noise?
No.
You've not seen this? So Notch Brewery, which is Brienne's brewery.
Yeah, I know.
Is
Notch,
putting out. So they're putting out a global initiative similar to the All Together initiative, where they had the beer, the recipe available, and breweries could sign up to brew it. They have put one out called Brave Noise Pale Ale. Now, for a commercial brewery to take part, they have to submit that like they have to submit their policies that prove that they are trying to support inclusivity in their working practices and for their staff and in the brewing industry. But they are also putting out a homebrewers version that Jen Blair has worked on, and she is under the Gemfluence. If you've not heard of her, she's also on the Full Bottom Girls podcast. She's brilliant. I love her dearly. But she's worked on the homebrewers version, and you can sign up as a homebrewer to brew this beer, and it's got Sabro in it.
Yeah,
we need to brew this beer. This needs to be the podcast beer.
So we do that? We'll do that for a 1 year. We'll do that for a 1 year.
Yes, spoiler, massive spoiler.
Massive spoiler. I mean, I'm sure we can do something else for a 1 year as well. But like, we'll work some like great stuff out for a 1 year.
And then like, I feel like we need to find a way to like raise money for like women-centered charities or something.
We'll figure out something.
Yes,
we'll figure out something.
Done. Let's go.
But yeah, ideally.
A tick on that one.
I think for me, like, it's just in general, I would love to brew a beer full stop. It would just mean even more if I could brew my first one with you.
I'm gonna make you do it on your own.
I think it'd be great.
Stand back
no, don't be horrible. I'll do the hard work. You just tell me what I'm doing. Like, yeah, you tell me and I'll do it. I take direction really well. As a project manager, I take direction really well because I understand what it's like to delegate. So, but yeah, I would like to do that, and I would like to just be able to, you know, spend a night near you, brew a beer, and then go to Boutiliers, have some drinks at Boutiliers, because that all seems like quite a realistic thing that we could do. So
we could totally do that. Let's do it.
That's my number 4. And then my last one is I would genuinely like to record at least one more live episode. When I say live, I mean on location.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
That's my top 5.
That's a good top 5.
I thought about that today.
Yeah, good job.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's a good place to end. I think we've rambled on for quite a while, so I'm sure people have probably turned it off well before this point. Before like the best part, which is our goals, I'm sure they've turned it off. Right. Any final thoughts from your side?
I am excited to drink more beer. I'm excited to expand my beer knowledge and take other people on that journey with me. Come join me.
All right. I'm excited to just be able to drink more, full stop, go to more places, full stop.
Yeah, just visit places. Have beer adventures.
Yes, beer adventures. Like that's my final thought. Excited for beer adventures, because I feel like we've already got to meet up like 3 times now. That was brilliant. I want to meet up more times. I think it's great. I want to go out on the piss with Charlotte again, because that was brilliant.
So good. We had such a good time.
I could go out and drink with Charlotte all the time. Could go out and drink with you all the time. Like, I want to go out more, want to see people more, I want to share beers more, share experiences. Yeah, just adventure more. Adventures and optimism.
There you go.
And on that note, what's your socials?
Right, so if you'd like to speak to Tori about her beer adventures, she is adventures _in_optimism. I'm not on Pinterest. I'm on TikTokies, but I don't actually have an account. I don't actually do much on there. So I mean, you can follow me, but I don't really post much. I've got a blog, but you can get to that from my Instagram, and I don't really keep that up to date. I'm trying to like list off more things. You can also do things off of Joanne's website. Joanne, where do people find you? If you'd like to speak to me, you can find me. I am a woman's brew on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I don't really use the Twitter, so don't talk to me there.
Just don't talk to me.
I mean, you can talk to me there, but it's pretty much just my Untappd check-ins. So you better if you want to get hold of me, I hang out on Instagram. You can also find my beer school if you would like to know more about the Beer Tent Society and come and join us drinking styles and just having a good old time. You can find me at Love Beer Learning on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, which is Tori's fave. She loves that I'm on Pinterest.
Love Pinterest.
We have a website, lovebeerlearning.co.uk. I have a blog there. It is regularly updated.
More updated than mine.
And we also will pick up any emails that you want to send us at lovebeerlearning@gmail.com. Pick up the podcast emails there. Tell us what styles you want to hear about. tell us what beer adventures you want us to take and record for you, because
episode ideas, like, I mean, we've got we're not asking because we're out of ideas.
No,
we've got I've got like a 3-page Word document.
But we want to know what you want.
We're asking because we want to know what you want to hear about, what you think would be fun, where you want us to go, what you want us to do, styles you want us to cover. If you've got recommendations for places that we should go visit, even if it's not to record, but just to go and be there in any of the places we mentioned, definitely let us know. Let us know what your goals are for the next 6 months.
Tell us your beer adventures.
your adventures and optimism. And on that note, I'm going to go finish the rest of my beers. Cheers.